StackOverflow 101, meaning that this is going to be an introductory session for guys to get to know about what is StackOverflow and how you are going to use it, and some basic guidelines on how to, work with StackOverflow and use the platform for your benefit. So, and in the process, I will try to share my experience as well going forward. So I guess we can start. If within the presentation, if you can't hear me or rather you cannot see my screen, please let me know, because as happened earlier. Yeah, so I will start. So I am Nishan Vikramaratne, and this is me. Today we are going to talk about a few things like introduction to StackOverflow, good practices, and how to ask and answer questions. These things are not going to be in order. Rather, we are going to sort of go through some things that I think you should know, and I think that is important to get to know about before you are going to start. And this also applies to the people who are currently on StackOverflow as well, because that will be helpful for you guys. Yeah. So what is StackOverflow? StackOverflow is founded on 2008. It is a public platform used by the computer programmers or rather developers. And the main focus of StackOverflow is to share knowledge and collaborate together and build their careers. So as undergraduates, you always you might have come across StackOverflow because it is where all your problems get solved, right? So yeah, StackOverflow is that. It is basically, think of it as a platform where you can ask and answer questions based on the things that you are coming across in your day-to-day life. Don't demand questions and get answers. That is not the case. You have to be focused, and you have to be ask questions that are related to your development work, like when it comes to your level 2 projects and other personal projects. And when you go to the industry as well, as an intern or other software engineer, you should and you will always come across StackOverflow. And StackOverflow is not a single site. Actually, it is a single site, but it belongs to this larger platform called Stack Exchange, where you have like other areas as well, where you can ask questions like Ubuntu, mathematics, English language, theoretical computer science, photography, anything, you name it. So if I go to the website itself, I can show you how it's yeah. So this is the website. You can see there are like many areas where you can ask and answer questions like astronomy and material arts. So like when it comes to StackOverflow, as you can see, it is the largest of all the sites that are in Stack Exchange. StackOverflow mainly focuses on the development, software engineering, computer science related questions. So that is what we are trying to discuss here today, because that is the thing that that is relevant to us mostly, right? Yeah, so I forgot to mention, when I share the slide deck, you will see this kind of icons at the corners of your screen. You can click them to get additional information. Now, when you're going to ask questions, you have to be like specific, and they expect you to put some effort into your questions, because otherwise your questions get rejected or closed. Because if you have a question like how to, let's say for an example, how to manipulate a string in Java, or how to, print a palindrome in you have to have a specific questions where you came across while working on your project or working on any other industry related thing that you do. So that is the case when it comes to asking questions. Otherwise, your question will not be answered. Then it will be closed and it will be downnoted. What is downnoting? I will come to that uh, in a second, right? So you have to have sufficient details, and you have to provide background. What were you doing while you came across that issue, and what led you there? Why you need to do that, and what is the expected output, and what are the research, and what have you tried? What have you tried so far? So these things you have to do first before you go to ask questions. These people who answer your questions are also the software engineers or industry experts on the relevant field. Say, for example, if you ask a question related to, um, let's say, entity framework, or let's take React. So people who are keen on and experts on React framework will answer your question, but they expect your question to be in this order or rather this manner, because otherwise they won't understand, because these people speak English, and they usually languages as far as I'm concerned. But since that is the case, you have to be clear and you have to be concise on what you are going to ask. I will show you some examples as well. Then we can, you know, like see how this happens, right? This is just some basic groundwork for you guys to understand what is we are trying to do. Now, when you're going to ask a question, the question you are going to ask should be in a tutorial or a book related to that topic. So, and you can easily find that answers in maybe YouTube. So you have to do that research first. So this is the Stack Overflow fact index, or other frequently asked questions. You can go there and get understanding on how to edit, format, or scope on topic, code samples, and everything else, right? Anyway, so let's break it down. So these are the 4 steps that you need to follow before you ask a question on Stack Overflow. First of all, if applicable, you have to research any code documentation or other tutorials associated with the problem. And then you can research your question on Stack Overflow as well. You can search your question in the Stack Overflow search bar, and then you can try to get an answer. If that doesn't work as well, you can do an extra research and formulate your question. Like you can specifically ask what is the issue that you face, and what were you doing when you came across that issue, and you have to be on topic. Here, on topic means that, as I said earlier, Stack Overflow is like for the computer software engineers and developers, right? So if you have a mathematics related problem, you cannot ask that on Stack Overflow. You have to go to that specific site to answer that question, or rather ask that question. Flow, you can ask questions on Stack Overflow Meta as well. Stack Overflow Meta is like a place where you can ask these questions. Like here, you can see, why can't I ask customer service related questions? People have asked these questions regarding the questions they have. So they can, ask if you have a question regarding Stack Overflow, this is the place to start, the Stack Overflow meta. You can come here and ask questions related to Stack Overflow, like, how can I log out from Stack Overflow? That is another issue as well, I guess. Maybe likewise, you can ask those issues as well in Stack Overflow meta. Okay, moving on. Now, keep an eye out for the following as well. So, as I mentioned earlier, your questions need to be sorry, related to computer programming. So if it is not a computer programming related question, you cannot ask that on Stack Overflow. You have to go to that specific site, and don't ask duplicate questions as well. Duplicate questions are where there's an existing answer for that question, and so you cannot ask that same question again. So it will be flagged as a duplicate question, and your question will be disregarded, or rather you will be redirected to the existing question that the previous answers have been given, right? Now your question could be somewhat different than the existing question. There could be scenarios like that as well, right? So in that case, what you have to do is you have to make sure that your question in your question you have to say, okay, I have referred this question, the previous question as well, but that did not answer your question, and what your question has nothing to do with that that specific problem in that previous question. So this question is a valid question. Likewise, you have to validate your question, saying that, okay, I did some research, but that did not help me. So otherwise it will be marked as a duplicate question. And don't ask opinion-based question and broad questions as well. Stack Overflow is mainly it should be facts-driven answers. So if you ask opinion-based question, what do you think about, right? If you ask a question like that, that is an opinion-based question. Some people might have arguments related to Ubuntu servers. Some people may have good arguments in terms of Windows servers, right? So that is opinion-based question, and those things are not considered as valid questions on Stack Overflow. Okay, we are coming to our first example. So if you don't follow these guidelines, this is what will be happen. To your question. So you can see this question is insert characters before and after a char. Question asked with the how to insert characters before and after another character, right? So this is sorry, basically the question is on C#, and it has been closed because this question does not meet Stack Overflow guidelines. So that is why it is not currently accepting answers. And you can see it has been downloaded 5 times. Again, download කරනවා කියන්නේ ඒ question එක ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒ question එක research කරලා මදි කියලා indication එකක් තමයි මෙතනදී කියන්නේ. Right, and downloaded. That is not good for your reputation. So we are coming to the reputation, but before going into the reputation, let me say this. Like questions that need additional work that are not a good fit for the site may be closed by experienced community members. This is done by other community members. When you come to a certain level of reputation on Stack Overflow, you get the privilege to close questions. So it will be based on a vote. So 3 people can vote on a question to close it, and the question will be closed, and it will no longer be accepting answers. So your question may not get answered, right? So yeah, so let me just go to what is reputation as well, then you can understand what I'm trying to say. So reputation is a rough measurement on how much community trusts you. If you ask good questions, and if you like answer questions on a day-to-day basis, and your questions help people, you will get up. You saw two arrows, right? Up and down. So people can either upvote and downvote your questions. If you get upvoted, your reputation will be increased. If you get downvoted, your reputation will be decreased. So based on your reputation, people come into several conclusions. Like you are an expert. Let's say for an example, this person has over 12,000 reputation, and you can see he has like 475 into 247 amount of reputation on the bot framework, and then secondly on C Sharp, and thirdly on Microsoft Nation. So if a person view your profile, or rather come to see your profile, they will see this information, and they will know that okay, you are an expert on bot framework, or you are an expert on C Sharp and Microsoft Azure and Microsoft Azure Cognitive Services, like so. They will see. So this is important because this is like as this text says, is a rough measurement on how much the community trusts you, and it indicates what are your expert areas. And like if you are going to the industry as a software engineer, I'm not talking about internship, right? I'm talking about after 4 years, if you're coming to the industry, if you can like build a reputation around a certain framework or certain language, computer programming language, that is going to be an added advantage, right? So that is why Stack Overflow reputation is important. But then again, what we are after is not reputation. It is entirely optional. The three most common or the important activities on Stack Overflow is like asking, answering, and editing. Stack Overflow is something that you get when you do these three things. edit කරන්න කියන්න හදාගන්න මම මේක දන්නවා කියන්න මේක මේ මගේ එක්ස්පර්ට් ඒරියා එක කියන්න තැන කියන තැනක් නෙමෙයි. හැබැයි මේ වැඩ තුන හරියට කරොතින් ඔයාට ඒ රෙපියුටේෂන් එක ඔටෝමැටිකලි ලැබෙනවා. ඔයා මෙහෙම මේ ෆ්‍රේම් අපි හිතමු React කියලා. If you take React, if you ask and answer questions related to React, people coming into your Stack Overflow profile mainly going to be like if you put your Stack Overflow profile URL in your CV, people come in to see, and then they will know that you are an expert on that specific area. The byproduct where you can the most important activity that you do on Stack Overflow is asking, answering, and editing. So as you can see, this is the reputation graph of my profile. So as you can see, I joined at Stack Overflow 2017, and this is like starting of our second year. And then you can see in the entire second year, my reputation is like has not been increased. Then like after July 2018 only, it, uh, it it is going upward, right? That is the reason is because at that time I was an intern. So as an intern, I had lots of questions. So then the Stack Overflow was the main place that I was trying to solve my issues that I was facing related to the computer programming issues that I had. So that is why it is important. I was not after reputation. I just questions. So at that point or not, you can see it is the reputation graph and how it behaves. So my point is, don't go after reputation. Try to be a good community member and ask and answer questions. But that being said, yeah, so that being said, I will tell you guys what is reputation and how you can, you know, maintain a good reputation, right? I guess that is what is expected from me, right? මම මගේ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඒකනේ මේ reputation කොහොමද build කරන්නේ ඒකනේ. ඒ වුණාට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ මේ reputation කියන නම්බර් එක පස්සේ යන්න එක නෙමෙයි. ඕගොල්ලන්ට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න නිරාකරණය කරගන්න තැනක් විදිහට සලකන්න. එතකොට reputation එක ලැබෙයි. Okay, now reputation, based on the reputation, you will get privileges. If you have 10 reputation on Stack Overflow, you can remove like your new user restrictions, like you can post more links, you can answer protected questions, etc. And if you have like 15 reputation, you can try to vote up other people's questions and other people's answer. You get the privilege to do that. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ 15 කියන නම්බර් එකට reputation එක ආවට පස්සේ ඔයාලට පුළුවන් අනිත් කට්ටියගේ questions answers upload කරන්න. ඊට කලින් බෑ. හරි. ඒක තමයි මේ numbers වලින් කියන්නේ. හරි. first posts කියන්නේ ඒකයි. කියන්නේ Stack Overflow වලට ඉස්සෙල්ලාම ආපු කට්ටිය අහනවනේ ප්‍රශ්න නිකන් වැඩි. මේවා ගැන නොදැන ඇවිල්ලා මං කිව්ව වැරදි කරගෙන ප්‍රශ්න අහනවා. ඒකට ඒවා review කරලා ඒවා edit කරන්න කියන්නේ edit suggest කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේම edit එකක් කරන්න ඕනේ මේකේ කියලා. ඔයාට තනි අයිතිය ලැබෙනවා edit කරන්න 2008 when you get to 2000 reputation you can edit questions without any authorizations or oversight from other people, right? දැන් ඔයාලට තේරෙන්නේ නැති මේක මේ community driven. ඒ කියන්නේ මේකෙන් ඔයාලා කරන්නේ developer community එකට උදව්වක් කරන්න තමයි Stack Overflow base වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ reputation වැඩි වෙනකොට වෙන්නේ ඒක තමයි. So let's look at the reputation milestones in a more detailed manner as well. Okay, so here you can see you start by in the first place you can create posts and then you go up the ladder and there is like you can go up to 25,000 and when you go to 25,000 you can access the site analytics using Google Sites and when you go to 20,000 you are considered as a trusted user and then when you reach that milestone you are considered as one of the top people on Stack Overflow and you will get the chance to manipulate the site as well. Like you can see there are other reputation milestones as well, like you can create tags and in 1000 reputation you are considered as an established user where you can see vote counts. So I'm not going to go into deep into these things. You can just click on this icon and go into that and you can see for yourself how this reputation or other privileges based on reputation. Right, so you get reputation. So this is the most important topic, how to get reputation. So if your question is voted up, you will get +10. And if your answer is voted up, you will get another 10. And if your answer is marked as an accepted answer, you will get 15. And if so +2 for the accept, that means the person who is accepting that answer or rather the person who asked the question get +2. The person who gave the answer get +15. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන කියන්නේ ඔයා උත්තර දුන්නේ ඔයා නම් ඔයාට තමයි 15ක් හම්බෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ හරි accepted කියලා decide කරපු answer එකකට 15ක් ලැබෙනවා. හරිද? එතකොට ප්‍රශ්නේ අහපු කෙනාට 2ක් හම්බෙනවා. එහෙම වුණාම. ඒ වගේ තමයි යන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ +2 is suggested edit is accepted. Up to 10,000. ඒ කියන්නේ 2ක් +2 හම්බෙනවා edit එකක් සජෙස්ට් කරලා ඒක ඇක්සෙප්ට් වුණොත් ඒ කියන්නේ අර මම කලින් කිව්ව reputation graph එකේ so you let me bring up that this. So you can only edit questions and answers without other people's intervention is reputation 2000, right? 2008 පස්සේ තමයි කාගෙන්වත් අහන්න නැතුව මේ questions and answers edit කරන්න අවසර තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි ඊට කලින් කරන්න edit කරන්න අවසර තියෙනවා. ඒව accept වෙන්න ඕන. අනිත් users ලා මේ 2008 වැඩියෙන් තියෙන හරි කට්ටිය ඒව approve කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට එහෙම edits accept වුණොත් ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන් මං හිතන්නේ 2000 තියෙන කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා ඇති කියලා 2000 තියෙන කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් හොඳයි. ඊට අඩුවෙන් තියෙන කෙනෙකුට පුළුවන් මේ edits suggest කරන්න. When you suggest an edit to a post and if you get accepted, you will get +2. But the most important thing is when you lose reputation is when your question is get voted down. If your answer is voted down, and if you vote down another answer also, you will lose +1 point. හරි. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාගේ question එක vote down වුණොත් 2ක් අඩු වෙනවා. answer එක vote down වුණොත් 2ක් අඩු වෙනවා. ඔයා තව කාගේ හරි answer එකක් අඩු කරන්න ගියොත් downvote කරොත් 3 නේ එකක් යනවා. People don't know these things. So they, without knowingly downvote other people's answers, right? But thing to keep in mind is that that also applies, that also incurs a cost, because you are trying to you are at the basic sense, what you're trying to do is you are marking that answer as not helpful, but that is fine, but that is totally valid scenario, but you have to know that doing that also incurs a cost. You will lose -1 as well when you do that, right? That doesn't mean you don't have to download if that answer is not helpful. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාට ඒ answer එක ගැලපෙන්නේ නැත්නම් ඔයාට download කරන්න අයිතිය තියෙනවා, right? ඒ කියන්නේ මේ පුද්ගලයා වැඩ කරන්නේ නැති උත්තරයක් දෙනවා කියන එක එච්චර හොඳ වැඩක් නෙමෙයිනේ. ප්‍රශ්නයකට උත්තරයක් දෙනකොට වැඩ කරන උත්තරයක් හරි උත්තරයක් දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් අනවශ්‍ය උත්තර දුන්නාම ඉතින් ඒක download කරන්න වෙනවා. But yeah. Okay. Let's go to my at that time, this is a valid question because those days C# or rather this feature string and string was not very popular. So people ask these questions and look at the reputation or the upvotes that he got. He get like 6,926 upvotes on this question. So these days also you get like so if I go to this question, maybe is this it? Yeah, this is the question. So yeah, you can see this is an example on what I said. So you can see even the person who answered the question also like has like 6,000 upvotes. So this is what you have to do. You have to be an early adopter. Like these days also, as I said, coming in different frameworks, coming in different programming languages. If you see that it doesn't have to be a programming language, maybe you updated your Visual Studio to latest version and you face an issue when you're trying to run your project. Again, Visual Studio update කරලා latest version එකට පරණ project එක run කරන්න ගියාම issues එනවා. එහෙම වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒව වුණත් මේ issue එකක් ප්‍රශ්නයක් තමයි. Android Studio, Visual Studio ඕන එකක්. Unity කියමුකෝ, Unity හරි. Anything, if you update your IDEs or if you update your maybe Python, various issues, then you can ask those questions. If keep in mind if that question does not already existing on Stack Overflow, you can ask that, right? And then you will definitely get upvoted and you will earn reputation based on that. So that is one thing that you can do. And if I take an example from my, let me just show you a few examples as well from me as well. I'm not, otherwise you will like accuse me of showing other people's questions. Why, not showing my questions. Yeah, so this is one. Okay, I hope you can see it. So this is a question asked related to entity framework core tools, not working on .NET Core 3 Preview 4. So preview versions are like mainly some, if you are a developer, you know what is preview version. It is like a pre-release. Again, at the version .NET Core 3 කියන version එක release කරන්න කලින් ඒ release එකේ early version එකක් තමයි preview එකක්. So if you are a adapter and if you early adapter and if you like to try out new things, what you should do is you should install these preview versions and try out building projects. So this person had an issue with .NET EF core tools. Don't mind these technical terms. You might know what you might not know what is EF core and what is .NET core. That is okay, but what you have to understand is this preview for part of this question. Like this person is trying out a preview version of a framework and he is coming across an issue. So another early adopter, who is me, had the same issue, then I can come there and ask or rather answer that question. So you can see I have given detailed description or other instructions to how to solve that issue. And so at that time .NET Core 3 was on preview 4, but now it is no longer preview. You have to make a commitment and come back to that earlier answer and edit it to say that okay, now it is no longer on preview, so you have to select your version and then provide some links to the documentation or the version to check the version, right? So you can see you have to be committed toward this. If you just answer this and leave it as that, the new people who are coming across this issue may not be able to solve it. So you may not get upvoted no long. Again, අද දවසෙත් මේක අප්ලෝඩ් නොවෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයා මේක අප්ඩේට් නොකරොත්, ආන්සර් එක අප්ඩේට් නොකරොත් අලුතෙන් මෙහෙම version ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා කියලා. Likewise. Okay, that is that. And another thing is you have to put what you have tried out. You have to say, okay, I have tried out these things. I have, tried out this. My expected output is this. This is what basic question. This only has like 3 lines, but the question is very concise and clean and clear to read. Right. So that is why this question has been uploaded 21 times, right? So if I go to another example, is it? Yeah, it is this same question. You can click this icon and go to that question, but I will show you another question. So this is another question that I have asked. So I wanted to calculate average time from datetime 2 column. Datetime 2 is a data type available in SQL Server. So I wanted to calculate that. So look at the question. I have given detailed description or other instructions on what I wanted to achieve. I have drawn tables. I have given like queries, and what I have tried is this, and what the output of that query, and like so. I have given some detailed description on the question, and then the people who answer this question can easily give you an answer. right? ඒ කියන්නේ මේම එරිලම ඉන්න වෙලාවක හරිද? කියන්නේ අන්තිම තිතටම විමටම වැටෙන වෙලාවක ප්‍රශ්නෙට උත්තරයක් ඕනේ. රෙපියුටේෂන් නෙමෙයි ඕනේ වෙලට. හරිද? ඒ වෙලෙට ප්‍රශ්නෙට උත්තරයක් තමයි ඕනේ. එතකොට ඒක කරගන්න නම් මේ විදිහට පැහැදිලිව ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්න. හරිද? ඒක තමයි මම කියන්න උත්සාහ කරන්නේ. Okay. Another thing related to the earlier one as well is to ask descriptive questions. Like you have to provide very good descriptions and provide images as well if applicable, and then you can like use proper formatting, proper tags, proper like runnable examples. Like, so if I go to this question, I guess Zoom is consuming most of my bandwidth. Yeah, in early example also you saw that what I'm talking about. You need to be concise and precise on how to answer questions or rather ask questions as well. If I go to this one and go to this question, this is again something that I asked. You can see this is a question I faced like 2 years ago. So you can see how I have asked this question. I have given us the basic or the implementation of that code that I've been trying out and what are the outputs and how I am requesting this resource, and like, so I have given some detailed instructions, descriptions. So like people are having this question, that is why it is upvoted like 28 times, and the person who have answered also has earned reputation because he's also an early adopter, or rather he's also having the same question. So like, so you can so because I'm an idiot, so that is why he tries to go into deep and have given me step-by-step guidance on how to resolve this issue. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ විදිහට step by step දීලා තියෙනවා, මේමයි කරන්න මේම කරන්න. එතකොට හරි. එතකොට එයාගේ ආන්සර් එක තියෙන quality එක නිසා තමයි ඒක අප්ලෝඩ් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේ තියෙනවා. Right? I will show you this profile as well. So let's take this person's profile. If I go to activity tab, you can see he's an expert on ASP.NET Core, C# .NET Core, and he has like this amount of reputation, and you can see the various statistics, right? So yeah, this is basically the view that people coming into your profile will get, and what are the badges based on your reputation or the things that you do on Stack Overflow. You can earn these badges. These badges have different meaning to that. There are like thousands of badges. So you can see the fanatic badge means that this person has visited the site each day for 100 days. So like, so you can earn badges as well. But as I said, the most important thing on Stack Overflow is getting your problems resolved, right? Not reputation. So yeah. And here also another question. It has been asked like 11 years ago. So you can see it is ported many times. The question is, move the most recent commits to new branch with Git. If you are you might accidentally commit on the master branch. But what if you want to commit move move your commits to a different branch, how to do that. At those days, this is a new thing. ඒ දවස්වල මේක අලුත් දෙයක්. ඒ නිසා එයා early adopter කෙනෙක් නිසා එයාට ඒ ප්‍රශ්නේ තිබිලා තියෙනවා. එයා ඒක අහලා. Right. So there are various examples that I can show you guys, but with the time and all, I will just try to move on. Okay, now another scenario is like there could be different questions, but one answer can answer those questions. So this is a scenario like this. So you can see the questions like coordinator layout not working on Android Studio 3.1.3. One question, and another question, which is not a duplicate. Again, make a duplicate එකක් නෙමෙයි මේක. දෙවෙනි එක, fail to find coordinator layout style in current theme. Right? So it could be a duplicate, it could not be a duplicate, but you have to notice this question is asked 2 years ago and this question is asked 3 years ago. So there's like maybe a small chance for being these two questions duplicate, but I don't think so. But one answer can also answer these two issues simultaneously. Right? So the answer could be that the issue is originating from Android Studio version 3 point plus, meaning that it could be an issue with 3 version upward from 3. But what you can do is use Android / දෙකටම මේ උත්තරේ හරියන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මේ උදාහරණය එහෙම එකක් හරි. එතකොට මේ මෙහෙම අවස්ථා තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඔයාලට පුළුවන් what you can do is if you come across this question, the second question, and you can suggest this answer as well. This answer could be in the question 1. Question 1 එකේ තියෙන answer එකක් මේ question එකට උත්තරයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So you can try to answer those questions. මේ පරණ questions උනාට answer කරන්න පුළුවන්, right? And let me show you duplicate questions as well. What happens when you ask a duplicate question? So the question is how to for each the hash map, for each loop hash map එකකට දාන්නේ කොහොමද? Right? Don't think about hash maps if you don't know. It is a language feature in Java. So these are tags. You can see there are small icons appearing in the question. You can see these are called as tags. You can watch these tags, and then in the StackOverflow homepage, you will see these tags. Sorry, you will see questions related to these tags. Right? Okay. So yeah, so a duplicate question, you can see this question already has an answer here. People, people who are having the high number of reputation come here and then they say, okay, these questions already have an answer. So you will be redirected to that. But then again, this person is lucky because he has like upvotes. This actually based on how Google search works as well, right? Sometimes when you search for a problem on Google, you will get to this question before to the duplicate question. So you will upvote this question, right? That is what happens here. If since this link is here, people have said that this question have an already answer. So you can, if answers applied or other given here doesn't work for you, you can click on this link and go to that question and see if that the answers on that question answer your questions as well, right? So that is what is a duplicate question is. Okay, so this is the scenario where you can have different question and only one answer can answer both the questions. And there's another scenario where you have different answers, but only one question is there. So in this case, which is the most common case, obviously, because people, there could be one question and people answer like multiple people can answer a question, right? So in this case, like maybe, so take an example here. So where are the Docker images stored on the host machine is the question, right? Host machine. මේ මොනවද කියලා වැඩි හිතන්න පාරි මේ දන්නේ නැතුව ඇති ගොඩක් first years ලයිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් කියලා තේරෙන මොකක් කරන්නේ. එතකොට මේක දැන් ඔයාලට පේන ඇති මේ අහලා තියෙන්නේ Ubuntu based ප්‍රශ්නයක්. Ubuntu කියන operating system එක. So the question is like based on Ubuntu operating system. Why do I say that? Because of this directory structure. Var, lib, docker containers, these var and lib directories are appearing on Ubuntu. You will learn Ubuntu in your undergraduate days. Then you will know that if you are a Windows user, you know like there are directories like my documents, downloads, documents, pictures, videos කිය folders තියෙනවානේ Windows වල. ඒ වගේ Ubuntu වලත් තියෙනවා ඒකට specific directory structure එක. එතකොට ඒකට අදාළ තමයි මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ අහලා තියෙන්නේ. So the question as I mentioned is related to Ubuntu. So the answer should be also targeting that specific scenario. Like this, if you take the first answer, you can see that person has given answer related to Ubuntu operating system. But if you are a Windows user, if you search this question on Google, this might be appearing. Okay, I guess someone is unmuted. So check if you are muted. Okay, so the answer, if so, as I mentioned, I was talking about this question. So if you Google, if you have this question, if you are on a Windows machine, you will come to this question, right? And this question is based on Ubuntu, so it doesn't help you. But if you can provide an answer for Windows environments, that will be helpful for some people. So that is also has a high chance of getting upvoted. හරි තේරුණා? ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මේක ප්‍රශ්න අහලා තියෙන Ubuntu වලට උත්තරේ හම්බෙලා තියෙන Ubuntu වලට. ඒ වුණාට මේක Google search කරන අපි ඔයගොල්ලෝ වගේ කට්ටිය, ඒ කියන්නේ Windows operating systems ගොඩක් use කරන අයත් මෙතෙන්ට එන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට එයාලට උදව්වක් වෙයි කියලා හිතලා ඔයාට පුළුවන් Windows වල තියෙන එකත් ලියන්න. ආන්සර් එකක් විදිහට දෙන්න. එහෙම වුණොත් ඒකත් අප්ලෝඩ් වෙනවා. හරි. එතකොට ඒක කියන්න ඕනේ මේක මේ ආන්සර් එක දෙන්නේ මම මේ environment එකට මෙහෙම කියලා දෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? So if you are smart enough, you can find these kind of questions everywhere. Then you can give answers. Right? And another scenario, let's take another scenario as well, is this scenario, opposite questions. So this question I talked about this one earlier, right? Move the most recent commits to new branch with Git. But there could be another question like you can have a question like point branch to a new commit. This is actually exactly the opposite of these questions. I have linked those two questions. Let me try to go there. So yeah, so this is the opposite question of this one, which we saw earlier, right? So yeah, these kind of questions are also there. So think if you think your question is a duplicate, it could be not a duplicate. It could be like an opposite question of the same question. There could be scenarios like that as well. So yeah, you can leverage these things as well for your advantage if you are smart enough. Now another thing that you can do is provide the new answers to old questions. Here what you can do is you can see asked like 12 years ago, but this answer is from 2020, August of 2020. So this could be like this could be scenarios where these frameworks get updated time to time. you will get new versions, new updates, or your technologies might change. But and because of that, there could be new answers for old questions as well. Like if I go to this is this same question. Yeah, let's try to see this. So you can like do this. I know it's a bit late, but this may help others. You can write a comment or rather line like this, and then you can provide your answer as well. Then it will be uploaded more than the original answer. Original answer එකට වඩා upload වෙන්න පුළුවන් මෙහෙම වුණා. Right? So this is the question asked 7 years ago. Right? So like so you can do that as well. මෙහෙම වෙන්න පුළුවන් අලුතින් ෆ්‍රේම් දැන් පාරණ අපි React වල version මුලම ආපු version එකක තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් අලුත් version එකේ විසඳන්න ගියම ඒ version එකේ පාරණ version එකේ විසඳපු විදිහට කරන්න බෑ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? If that is the case, you can try to do that in the new version as well. Then you can post that question or the answer for that. Okay, if I talk about my experience, so yeah, this is another thing that I want to talk to you about related to the earlier thing that we mentioned. So again, this question is asked regarding some Android issue, convert camera X captured image proxy to bitmap. So the accepted answer for the question is answer is related to Dart. Dart is another programming language which you can use to write Android applications. But if you search this question on Google, you might be redirected and you might not be using Dart. You might be using Java. So what you can do is rewrite this answer in Java as well. So you can provide an answer in Java, other people who are searching this answer as well, right? And another thing, so this is also another old question asked like 10 years ago, how to insert a blank space when you are concatenating string. So you can see there are various ways people have answered, but C# introduced a new feature called string interpolation. So but I did this, try to give that answer as well using string interpolation. Also, you can do this, right? These kind of questions are there in the Stack Overflow, so you can, you have to do research. Basically, what happens is you come across this question and you see that okay, your question is not answered, and then you will try to formulate your own answer. That is what is happening. You can මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ අතර මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් how can I insert blank space. ඒකට මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ මට ඕන විදිහට ඒ කියන්නේ C# language features වල තියෙන අලුත් language feature එකක් පාවිච්චි කරලා මේක කරන්න පුළුවන් මෙහෙම මේ විදිහට නොකර. හරිද? ඒකට ඒක කරන්න මම ඊට පස්සේ ඒක කරන්න ඉතින් ඒක කරන්න නම් ඩොකියුමන්ටේෂන්ස් කියවන්න ඕනේ පොඩ්ඩක්. මොකද මේක Google කරාම Stack Overflow විතරක් නෙමෙයි එන්නේ. ගොඩක් එනවා. So only result you get when you Google the question is not Stack Overflow. You will get other tutorials as well. So you might find a solution in those tutorials which are like new solutions for these old questions, right? So what you can do is you can apply those answers into these old questions, and it might help some other people. So currently this answer have not helped anyone, but it will sometime. Okay, old questions, new answers, right? Few more things. You have to use proper code formatting. So you will ask like clean questions, clean answers. As I said earlier, there are ways to format your code I will show how to ask a question as well. If we have time, then you will know how to, insert those code as well. And then you can, start with your specialty when you are trying to answer. Be an expert on a specific area, then you have good understanding on how to ask and answer questions, right? Again, make a field let's say let's take like C sharp maybe. If you click on these tags, you will go to that questions related to that tag, and then you can filter on newest active, like so. If you go to newest, then you can see this person, a new user, right? Um, which who has like 41 reputation, has asked how to apply descending order according to the creation time of files. Okay, so that is kind of a complex issue. So if you are a experienced experienced user on Stack, or rather experienced user on C Sharp or ASP.NET, you can answer this question. So most of you guys are beginners, so let's search for like HTML, maybe, yeah, HTML or Java. For now, I will search. Okay, I'm not logged in, I guess. Tractors. Okay. So, okay, so you can see these are the questions tagged HTML, JavaScript. So you can see these people are new people, so you can see they get downloaded very easily. So this person has like one reputation, meaning he is a new user. His question is downloaded 5 times, because let's see what is the issue. Maybe people have given the issue. What do you mean by prohibit screenshot? If you wanted to take a screenshot web pages using JavaScript, you can use something. Okay, he has given some guidance. A screenshot is an operating system level command. If a website loaded through browser could block the operating system from running a command, then that would be a huge problem, right? So likewise, people comment on your issue. So that is why it is downloaded, because that is, you haven't tried anything. You haven't post your code even. ඔයාගේ code එක දාලත් නැහැ. ඔයා try කරේ මොනවද කියලා දාලා නැහැ. හරිද? ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා නිකම්ම ප්‍රශ්න අහලා ගිහිල්ලා කවුරු හරි ඇවිල්ලා උත්තර දෙයි කියලා. ඉතින් එහෙම වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? I hope you understood that. Yeah. So that is why you need to be like have good understanding on what you're going to do. So as a beginners, you guys know like C, Java, JavaScript, HTML, likewise. So you can start with those questions, and then you can try to answer a few of those. See if that helps you. Right, and also as I mentioned earlier, you can watch tags using that option here. If you want to watch JavaScript, you can click here, and you will be able to watch tag. Okay, this in this browser I'm not logged in. I will try to go here and try to show you guys how to watch a tag. So if you want to watch tag, you can hover over Java, and then you can watch it. Also, you get this RSS subscription URL as well. If you have an app like RSS reader, you can you subscribe to this RSS feed, and then you can get notifications on your mobile phone every time you get there's a person asking a question related to Java. Then you can come to this site, and or rather come to the link, and then you can see if you can answer those questions. Okay, like so. That is how we are going to do it, and have some few example projects ready to go on your PC. So if you are a React enthusiast or React දන්න කෙනෙක් නම්, what you can do is you can have a React project running on your computer, or rather placed on your computer. So what you can do is you can redirect you can use that project to test out the question. කවුරු හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇහුවොත් React සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඔයාලගේ locally තියෙන React project එකේ ඒක run කරලා බලන්න පුළුවන්. Right. So that is why you need to have a few example projects. Like if you are a .NET developer, you have to have a .NET, several .NET projects that you can use to try out. Or else you can use these services like JS Fiddle. JS Fiddle is like where you can write code related to JavaScript, .NET, and there's a service called .NET Fiddle as well. So it is where you can write C# code, and Google Colab is a place where you can run Python code. And like, so you can use these platforms as well, and then you can provide links to these if you are giving out a demo as an answer, you can use these links and put your answers into these platforms and share them as a link. That is also going to be like a good practice when you're going to answer questions. So this is .NET Fiddle, sorry, JS Fiddle. You can see it has an HTML window, CSS window, JavaScript window, and the result. Like if a person has a question related to JavaScript, you can run a small JavaScript uh, snippet here, and then you can share this, right? And you will get a output in this window. This is also a possibility. Likewise, you have .NET Fiddle and Google Colab as well. Go to these links and try them out. And you can also provide links where versions are important. As I mentioned earlier, version එකක් තියෙනවා නම් අලුතින් update වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒවට links දෙන්න documentation එකකින් නම් ගත්තේ, tutorial එකකින් නම් ගත්තේ, ඒක link කරන්න උත්තරයක් දෙනකොට මම මේක ගත්තේ මෙතනින් කියලා. And another thing, give detailed explanation when answering without just posting code. Okay, this is very important. උත්තරයක් දෙනකොට උනත් දෙන්න ඕනේ පැහැදිලිව උත්තර දෙන්න. මම පෙන්නන්නම් මෙහෙම එකක්. So this is actually answer that I did. මම දීපු answer එකක්. You can see I have only given 2 lines. Change it to this, and that is it. Then definitely your answer will get downloaded by other users, not the person who asked the question. Other experienced users who see this answer will download the answer, because it does not provide any explanation. What is the meaning of get element by ID? What is the meaning of inner HTML? Like, so I haven't provided anything. So what I had to do is change it to this. In the green, you can see my edited answer. If I go to the answer, you can see now it has like 2 upwards, because it is descriptive. You can insert this kind of code snippets as well when you are trying to answer. This Stack Overflow is very easy to use. Like it is very user friendly if you're going to ask or answer question. And let me try to show that as well. If like if I can, so you will be able to get an understanding on how to. Let me just go to this one. Okay, let's assume I want to ask a question. Let's wait. Okay, so this is where you ask your questions. How to print string in, let's say, C. So this question should be already answered, and it should come into the similar questions. Okay, let's give it some time. Other thing is, so you can see there is a way to, so you can see, okay, similar questions, how to print string on C, how to print a number string in C. So likewise, you will get similar questions asked on this topic. And if you are going to ask, if you're going to post code, you can insert a code snippet as well. You can see it will be formatted like this. And if you want to insert JavaScript, HTML, CSS snippet as well, you can get the similar interface like JS Fiddle here as well. Then you can do answer questions or rather ask questions there. Right. So as you saw, it is very easy to use Stack Overflow to ask questions and answer questions. The main thing you have to do is keep in mind that it should be following the guidelines of Stack Overflow. Otherwise, you will lose reputation. Okay, my biggest secret at the end of the day is that you should not follow reputation. You should be motivated, so or rather to build a better community. So this message, this is super helpful. Thank you so much. Is the goal that you should be going after, not reputation, right? It could be one of your batchmates, one of your team member, or a friend, or a person on Stack Overflow, and not in Stack Overflow, in real life as well. Try to help others and expect nothing in return, and then definitely you will be rewarded. That that is my biggest secret. Now, two more things. Stack Overflow have a developer survey. The 2021 developer survey is concluded and the results are not released yet. But what you can do is go to the results of Stack Overflow developer survey 2020, where you can see what the other people in the community do. So as an example, if you want to know what are like the famous languages, you can see Rust is the most famous language, and the C Sharp, Python, you can see how they stand. Like so, you can see these kind of statistics based on the survey that was given to the people, and you can see most loved frameworks, ASP.NET Core on the first, and in second you can see you have React.js and Vue.js. So people ask from me as well, yeah, what happens, what is happening these days on the industry, what is the most popular framework? So you don't have to ask me, you can just follow Stack Overflow developer survey and you can get an idea, right? But then again, you don't have to follow these famous frameworks as well. Again, me famous framework passe yannat epa. Because if you are let's say take Angular, or let's take Laravel. If you are a Laravel developer, meaning that you are not following like the most popular framework, that means you have a higher demand because you are one of the few people who knows Laravel, right? කියන්නේ Laravel කියන framework එක දන්න කීප දෙනෙක් වෙන. දැන් මෙතන නම් ඉතින් කීපයක් නෙමෙයි අපි තුමුනේ. එහෙම එකක් කියලා. ගොඩක්ම අඩුවෙන් දන්න කෙනෙක් මේ අඩුවෙන් use කරන framework එකක් level 2 project එකට හම්බුණා කියලා. එහෙම එකක් නෑ. එතකොට ඒක දන්නවා කියන්නේ ඔයා ඒක ගැන කියන්නේ කවුරුත් වැඩි නොදන්න එකක් ගැන ඔයා expert කෙනෙක් කියන එකයි. එතකොට ඒකත් advantage එකක් තමයි. හරි. මේකම කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා ගන්නෑ. හරි. Okay, developer survey, and then you have Stack Overflow blogs and podcast as well. If you want to read things about Stack Overflow and changing technologies on the developer community, you can go to Stack Overflow podcast and Stack Overflow blogs. There also you can learn or rather read things. Okay, so that is it, guys. I think I can conclude. So I guess you learned something. You can reach me on these channels, on Twitter and on email or on LinkedIn. If you guys have any questions, or if you have time, you can, and if you have a question, you can ask right now as well. Okay, I guess we can wind up, right, Power?
Yes, I thank you very much. Actually, thank you, Raj, for this interesting session. Because most of us are like newbies to the Stack Overflow community, and I believe the facts you told by us, you shared with us today, are very important for all of us, and to be a reputed member at the Stack Overflow. And Nishana, again, thank you very much for your support amidst your busy schedules. We appreciate that, and thank you very much.